Hello, wonderful beings. Welcome to the 61st episode of Wheel of Wisdom. Is my audio and video okay? Are you able to see and hear me fine? Can someone confirm, please? Hi, Crystal. Thank you so much for the confirmation. I appreciate it. And welcome. Are you joining us, for the very first time? Or have you been here before? Because, as I mentioned, this is like the 61st episode of Wheel of Wisdom. And we started this January, the January of this year. Okay, it is your first time. Welcome. I am so glad that, this was going on your screen and you decided to tune in. And I really hope that, you receive something valuable from this live. So let me take a moment to introduce myself a little bit for anyone who is joining us for the very first time. So, my name is Anisha Maheshwari, and I am a teacher on Insight Timer since 2.8 years now. And I have like thoroughly enjoyed this journey. I recently like started doing these lives in the July of the last year, and I have, fallen in love in with doing these lives. So what we do in this particular live is we usually start these lives with a meditation to open ourselves, to center ourselves, raise our vibrations so that we can tune into that higher wisdom. And once we go through a meditation and we are in a more open and receptive state, then we go to the wheel of wisdom, which is the name of this live. So, what we do is that we spin that wheel, and the universe, God, divine, consciousness, higher self, whatever you believe in, chooses a book from us, from that wheel, and then what we do is that I open my notes from that book. So, as I was reading some of these books, I made notes of the powerful insights or the transformational practices from these books. So, what we do is that we tune into your intuition, where I ask you to choose a number. And then I go through all the numbers that you guys have chosen, and I choose a number from that, tuning into my own intuition. And then, we receive a piece of reading to do in this particular live. And yeah, I read that paragraph, I read the highlighted paragraph on that page number. And then we do a discussion of some sort. And yeah, things just flows from there. So, having that mentioned, hi, Caitlin. Hello, hello. Caitlin says Grand Rising from Hudson Valley, New York. Beautiful. Thank you, Caitlin, for joining us. It's always a joy to have you here. And I see, some familiar faces and some new ones as well. Hi, Amber, and anyone else who is joining us for the very first time. Welcome. Welcome to the 61st episode of Wheel of Wisdom. I just mentioned what we do in these lives, and if you have missed that, don't worry, we're going to, that is going to unfold as we move across each particular layer. So, the first thing that we do in our lives is meditation. So, are you guys ready for the meditation? Type ready in the comments if you are. Okay, let's see. Nisa says ready. Hi, Nisa, welcome. Crystal says ready. Kimberly says ready. Hi, Kimberly. Welcome to the live. Lucy says it's her first time from Mexico and she is ready as well. Beautiful. Welcome, Lucy. I hope that you get something out of out of this live, and you leave this live with joy and love in your heart. Caitlin says ready, friend. Beautiful. Okay. Before we begin, I just wanted to confirm from you guys that I actually try to increase the volume of my mic. So is it okay for you? Like, are you getting a lot of background noise or is the audio fine? Amber says, hola, lovely folks, ready. Okay, Amber is ready as well. Okay, beautiful. And thank you, Nisa, Kimberly, Crystal, and Caitlin for the confirmation. Thank you, Lucy. Okay, yeah. So begin by coming into a comfortable posture. You can either sit, stand, or lie down, whatever your body needs in this moment. As you settle into this posture, allow your eyes to either close completely or alternatively, you can lower your gaze. So, looking downward at the floor in front of you. This is to help limit any visual distractions so that we can turn our awareness inward. So, become aware of the surface on which you are sitting, standing, or lying down. As you feel supported and grounded by this connection, allow your awareness to rest on your breath. With each breath arriving in this present moment, now take a deep breath in through your nose and a slow breath out through your mouth. Bringing your awareness to the sounds around you. Let yourself receive them without judgment or labeling, noticing the raw sound, the sounds that are near you, and the sounds far away. the loud and the soft sounds. So, first notice the loud sounds that you can hear. And now notice the subtle sounds. Let each sound arrive and pass just like a breeze, arriving and passing through. And now bring your awareness to your ears, feeling into their presence. Notice their position on either side of your head. Become aware of the subtle space around them. Notice the sensations within your ear. So, are they warm or cold? Are there sensations like tingling, pulsing, pain, or do you not feel any sensations at all, like a numbness in your ears? There is no need to change anything, just observe. Let your attention now settle into the whole region of your ears. So, moving your awareness to the outer ear, noticing the folds of the cartilage, the delicate skin, the ear canal, and the deeper inner ear, where sound is translated into meaning. So, becoming aware of the delicate mechanism that have carried the vibrations of the world to your awareness. Take a few breaths simply being with this part of your body. As you continue to be with this part of your body, silently say thank you. Thank you, ears. Thank you for receiving the rustle of leaves, the symphony of rain, and the wisdom of silence. Thank you for hearing voices, for hearing the voices that comfort me, melodies that move, and the laughter that lifts. Thank you for giving me this ability to experience the world through this sense of hearing. Thank you for protecting me by staying vigilant of the loud noises, and for turning towards what I need, for helping me find direction when I feel lost. Thank you for balancing my body quietly with every step I take. Acknowledge the gift of hearing in whatever form you experience it. Even if your hearing is imperfect, partial, or assisted, it is still meaningful. Let your appreciation deepen, not just for hearing, but for the role your ears play in your balance, connection, and presence. Now, bring your hands gently to your ears. No pressure, just a tender cupping of your palms over them. Feeling the quiet that gathers in the cocoon. Breathing slowly. Feel the echo of your breath rising and falling in this internal silence. Now, gently massage the outer edges of your ears, starting at the top and slowly tracing the rim downwards. So, massage with your thumbs and your forefingers, moving wherever curiosity takes you. Softly press and release, press and release. So continue doing so to the inner folds and your earlobes. With each touch, silently say, I appreciate you for all that you are and all that you have done. I appreciate you for all that you are and all that you have done. Gently massage the area just behind the ears where tension may hide. Continue saying, I appreciate you for all that you are and all that you have done. Now move your fingers behind the ear to the base of your skull, where the neck and the head meets. Using gentle circular motions to massage this area. A place where the auditory nerves and stress often gathers. So gently massaging around this area in circular motion, letting your jaw drop, your shoulders relaxed, and now lower your hands, resting them and breathing. Feeling yourself becoming quieter inside, not shutting out the world, but tuning in to the peace and stillness within. As you continue to breathe, bringing your awareness to your ears for the final time and saying, I appreciate you for all that you are and all that you have done. One last time, cupping your ears with your hands, connecting with the quiet, and whenever you feel ready, gently begin to lower your hands and open your eyes. connecting back with the environment around you. Welcome back. If you feel called to, you can move your body slightly or maybe hydrate yourself, whatever you need. Okay, if you feel called to, you can share your experience of the meditation. And if not, then, if you don't feel like typing, you can always just press the heart to let me know that the meditation resonated with you. And I see that some new people have joined us while we were meditating. So I want to say to you all, welcome. Welcome to this live. And I'm so happy to have all of you here. And even though you missed the live, you can always catch on to the replay and do the meditation at, or at your own time. And also, I want to mention that this is just one part of this live, and we are going to soon move on to the next part, which is about, tapping into wisdom, which is about connecting more with the divine and, yeah, and having some fun. Let's see. Lisa says, just joining. Hello, Anisha. Hello to everyone listening. Hi, Lisa. So nice to see you here again. I'm glad that you're getting some value out of these lives and you're coming back day after day. It brings me joy to know that. So welcome. Stephen says, you have a great demeanor, voice, and cadence for giving guided meditations. Thank you, Stephen. I'm glad that, the voice could guide you into all those corners within you that your soul wanted you to meet. So thank you for being here and for sharing that. I appreciate it. Lisa says me too. You're welcome, Lisa. Caitlin says, thanks for the practice, Anisha. Thank you, Caitlin. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Okay, guys, so now it's time to move on to the fun part of this live, which is Wheel of Wisdom. And let me show you guys the wheel. So, this is our Wheel of Wisdom. And what we're going to do is that in a moment, I'm going to spin the wheel, and the universe, divine, higher self, consciousness, whatever you believe in is going to choose a book for us to do some reading from, to receive some wisdom from. But before that, I invite all of you guys to take a moment to bring to your mind, what is it, is there something happening in your life that you would like to receive some guidance on? So let that come to the forefront of your mind. Or maybe think, is there any area of your life in which you would like some clarity and direction? And if there is nothing specific that you would like to receive some wisdom on, then you can always, set a intention in your mind or in the comments that, may I receive some general guidance for today. So take a moment to do so and type done in the comments when you have thought of something on which you would like to receive some guidance on. And yeah, and then we will spin the wheel once you have, mentioned done. Stephen says done. Okay, beautiful. other people. Again, if you have thought of something that you would like to receive some guidance on, so if you have brought that to the forefront of your mind, then you can type done in the comments. Caitlin has got it. Okay, beautiful. Hmm. So let's spin the wheel. So hold that in your mind, whatever it is that you would like to receive some guidance on today. And let's spin. So the book that came up for all of us today is Living Beautifully with Uncertainty and Change. And this book has been written by Pema Chodron. So let's see, because uncertainty and change is something that often spikes up fear for all of us. So I'm going to open the book, and then we're going to continue. Give me a moment. So this is kind of like the main page of this book. And I'm going to ask you to choose some numbers in a moment. First, let me, find that. Mm, okay, yeah. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to choose a number between like certain numbers, and I want you guys to take your time to choose that number. So I want you to tune into your own intuition and see what number comes up for you. Okay. And take your time. There is no need to hurry because I'm not going to choose the top one or two or three numbers. Instead, I'm going to go through all the numbers that you have mentioned, and then I'm going to tune into my intuition to choose a number amongst all of them. So that is what we are going to do. And also, what whoever number I chooses, so if Caitlin mentions a number or Stephen mentions a number, it doesn't mean that that reading is actually for them, it's just for them. It is for all of us because, they are just a source of that wisdom that is always here, always present. And now that we have, set that intention to really hear it, to really, listen, then we are, going to be more. I lost my train of thought. Okay. Yeah. So I was saying that, so whoever chooses that number, so that reading is not going to go, be for them. It is going to be for all of us because you all are present here. So that means that you are meant to hear that message and they are just a source of that wisdom. Okay. So I invite you guys to choose a number between 14 to 95. Okay, it is interesting. There are 14 people here actually, like actual number of people are 14, even though 72 people have joined. So yeah, I guess, I'm really feeling called to read at least one thing from page number 14 and then the rest from the numbers that you guys have mentioned. So let's see. Mona has chosen a number for all of us. Thank you, Mona, and welcome. Stephen has chosen a number. Donna. Hi, Donna. Welcome. Hi, Annie. Welcome. Okay. Caitlin has chosen a number. Gina. Lisa. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to take one more sip and then we will begin. You're welcome, Mona. I'm happy to have you in this space and to have every single one of you guys. Okay. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Lucy, for choosing a number. Okay, Lucy is calling for, the number that is coming up for Lucy are actually two numbers. Interesting. Okay, let's see now. Let's dive in and see which number am I feeling called to. Okay, so the number that I am feeling called to is 44, and that number has been chosen by Stephen for all of us. So thank you, Stephen, for that. And let's see what wants to come through from this page. Okay, so it seems like, hmm. So the author says on this page, meditation is one form of mindfulness, but mindfulness is called by many names. Attentiveness, nowness, and presence are just a few. Essentially, mindfulness means wakefulness, fully present wakefulness. Chogyam Trump called it paying attention to all the details of your life. So, before I read on to the next paragraph, the author kind of differentiates here between meditation and mindfulness, and they are not the same terms actually. So, how I explain is that the difference is you can think of mindfulness as a quality that we cultivate. For example, if we relate it to the example of gym. So when we are working out, if our aim is to cultivate strength, then strength is mindfulness. Okay, so it is a quality that we cultivate, it is a way of being, and meditation is the tool that we use to cultivate that. So, meditation is one of the tools. There are many other tools to cultivate mindfulness, and the formal meditation is one of them. There is also something known as informal mindfulness, which uses our daily life things to be more aware, to cultivate more mindfulness. Like doing the daily chores. So it doesn't need to be you sitting in a quiet room, but it is a lot more other things as well. So mindfulness is a quality that is being cultivated by using the tool meditation, and that is what mindfulness meditation means. And it helps us in many, many, many things. I have like done a whole series on this mindfulness meditation thing, explaining like all the myths associated with it, doing all the foundational practices of it, and also including the informal mindfulness that I mentioned, where you cultivate mindfulness apart from that formal session where you sit in a quiet room. Um, so let me, show you guys that, and then we will continue what came up from this page. So, as I mentioned, I have created a playlist in case you're interested. So you can go to my profile, which is Anisha Maheshwari. Let me put it here. Yeah. So when you go to my profile, when you scroll all the way down, okay, yeah, you will see a playlist known as Mindfulness Meditation Challenge, and it is a 15-day challenge containing of all the free tracks. So yeah, you can check that out if you're interested in mindfulness meditation because like a lot of research has surfaced, especially in the past 50 years or so, explaining the benefits of it and why people are trying to cultivate that. So yeah, I'm going to leave that to all those tracks. But if you're interested, you can check that out. Now continuing with the other paragraph that came up on this page. V says 95. Thank you, V, for choosing a number for all of us. Stephen says, thank you. You're welcome, Stephen. I'm glad that you're interested in that and you got the resource. So, yeah, so the author says, you build inner strength through embracing the totality of your experience, both the delightful parts and the difficult parts. Embracing the totality of your experience is one definition of having loving kindness for yourself. Loving kindness for yourself does not mean making sure you are feeling good all the time, trying to set up your life so that you are, comfortable every moment. Rather, it means setting up your life so that you have the time for meditation and self reflection, for kind hearted, compassionate self honesty. In this way, you become more attuned to seeing when you are biting the hook, when you are getting caught in the undertow of emotions, when you are grasping, and when you are letting go. This is the way you become a true friend to yourself, just as you are, with both your laziness and your bravery. There, there is no step more important than this. It's a tricky business, not rejecting any part of you at the same time that you are becoming acutely aware of how embarrassing or painful some of these parts are. What most of us have been doing is gearing our lives towards avoiding unpleasant feelings while clinging to whatever we think will make us feel good and more secure. From a conventional point of view, this makes perfect sense. But from the vantage point of remaining with our direct experience, from the vantage point of opening to the tentativeness of life, this strategy is self-defeating, the very thing that keeps us stuck. So basically, as humans, we all want pleasure and we want to avoid pain. We want the positive emotions and we want to get rid of the negative ones. That's why we suppress them. That's why, we bottle them up. But we forget that those emotions are the colors of the movie of our life, And if we just want one color and, leave all the rest, we have this monochromatic effect. Imagine what it would be like if you were wearing supposedly red glasses, for example. Okay, you were wearing red goggles and you're walking through life just wearing those goggles. And you block out all the other colors. It Life might not be as beautiful, right? Do you guys agree? Would it still be as beautiful? Would you still be able to enjoy and experience life to the fullest if you are walking around with your, red glass goggles or glasses, red tinted glasses, and you're walking around with them going through your life? Stephen says probably not, right? So, and that's what we try to do. We just want one emotion and we try to leave all of the rest. We just want one type of emotions and the rest can go, wherever they want to go. But that's not how, life works. That's not how it would be like to experience what it is to be a human. Experiencing the negative emotions or, all of these things that we don't like is a part of being human. So we cannot just block out certain parts. If we want to live life to the fullest, if we want to experience what everything that life has to offer, everything that being human has to offer. And also, when we try to do that, when we try to block out the negative emotions, it is not like you can just block out them. This is just a one-way path through which the emotions enter. So if you're trying to block out the negative ones, the positive ones here are also getting blocked out, and you would not be feeling as emotionally connected. you know you would not be able to experience the joys, the happiness, the gratefulness, the blessings if we try to block something else out. So that is what the author is trying to help us understand, that to embrace the delightful parts as well as the difficult parts, because that is what being kind to ourselves would be like, where we embrace and not only the parts of that, the delightful and the delightful and the difficult parts of life, but also the parts that of ourselves that we like and that we don't like. We cannot just try to get rid of all of them that we don't like and just have the ones that we like. You says, OMG, I was just going to say that I'm numb. And you maybe start by appreciating that part of you that has cut your connections with the emotions, because that part of you is trying to protect you, right? So connecting with that, appreciating that part instead of trying to blame it for making you feel numb, maybe starting with that, connecting with the part of you that feels numb or that uses the strategy to help you, to assist you in the manner that he or she knows. So maybe start there, and then we can build our capacity to feel the negative emotions as well as the positive ones. I think I do have like, so there are two courses of mine in which I have like, I think in the last chapters of both the courses, I have included a kind of a guided meditation for you to help you to actually process the emotions, to feel the emotions without getting overwhelmed. Would you like me to mention those courses here? You says, okay, love, tears are coming, prayer. Yeah, and that is, from moving from not feeling at all to the tears. You when that part of you got recognized in this manner, it just opened that gate maybe a little bit for you to feel safe enough to feel, even if it is, the tears. So, yeah, that is nice to know. Thank you for sharing that. Stephen says cultivating acceptance and curiosity rather than aversion. Exactly, exactly. Thank you, Stephen, for mentioning those words. Yeah, so the course that I mentioned was actually on acceptance, and another one was on mindfulness, both of which, goes well with the readings that we have done today. Let me, share that with you. So, the final chapter, the final lesson of this course, of this particular course, in that you will find a guided meditation. If you can check out the course, if you like that, you can go through the whole course, which, people are finding helpful. But if not, you can just go through the last lesson, and it includes a guidance, a guided meditation to connect, to accept, to connect, to process, and to do all of those things. So, yeah, you can check this out. So, if anyone needs that, you can save. And if you are not, if you don't have a premium, I think it is Insight Timer gives a pretty, cost efficient or an affordable premium, thing. So, you can subscribe maybe to check this course out. Stephen says, thank you, saved. Okay. And let me mention the other course. So, give me a second. So, the name of that one that I just mentioned was A Therapist's Guide to Accepting Life's Difficult Situations. And the other course, in which, I have again the last lesson, I think, of it, which involves a guided meditation to help you be with your inner world, be with all of those emotions. So the name of this one is The Ultimate Beginner's Guide to Mindfulness Meditation. And again, if you're interested in mindfulness meditation, which has like multiple benefits, um, yeah, so then you can also go through this particular course and then go through that challenge that I mentioned, a playlist that I mentioned before. So, yeah, please save this one also if you're interested. And if you're not on the premium, you can subscribe. Okay, let's see. We say sending hugs to you, like the person you. Okay, beautiful. I love, how you guys spread love and connection to each other so that the other person don't feel alone in their suffering, and the other person feels safe enough to share their, own innermost thoughts and feelings. You guys are so amazing. Okay. So now I'm going to do another reading. So I'm going to choose a page number. So if anyone has joined us just now, then you can mention a page number between 14 to 95 so that I can consider your comment as well. When I go through the numbers and choose a number for the next reading. So let me go through the previous, numbers that you guys mentioned. Thank you, Mona and Lindsay, for mentioning the numbers. Okay, let's see. I'm going to go to the start of the numbers. Oh, there are 108 people here. Beautiful. Wow, such an auspicious number. And now I am like excited what the next reading is going to come out. Thank you, Sarah, for mentioning the number, and welcome. Okay, guys, let's see what you beautiful guys have chosen for us. Okay, so the number that I'm feeling called to is 85, and the number has been chosen by Gina for all of us. Thank you, Gina, for choosing a number for all of us. Hi, Rachel. So, Rachel says evening from Australia. Beautiful. Hi, Rachel. Welcome. Welcome to this live. And feel free to add on to a number that you feel called to between 14 to 95. Um, Gina is sharing some hearts with all of us. So let's see what wants to come through. Page number 85, right? Yeah. So the author says, thank you, Rachel, for choosing a number. So the author says, it's a challenge to practice staying present when we are despondent or distressed or overwhelmed, when our backs are against the wall. But right then, when we are in a tight spot, we have the ideal situation for practice. We can do something radical, accept suffering as part of our home ground. We don't awaken in some paradise when where the circumstances are made to order. We awaken in the charnel ground. So, when you find yourself in a situation that is bound to trigger your propensities, spending extended time with your relatives would be an excellent example. You can practice holding your seat and relating fully to exactly where you are. If you can stay present in even the most challenging circumstances, the intensity of the situation will transform you. So, I love reframing the problems, the challenges, the difficult circumstances as opportunities to practice, opportunities to cultivate a particular skill. In this case, cultivate compassion, mindfulness, and all of the different skills that you want to cultivate within you. Thank you, Stephen, for your kind donation. I so appreciate that. And I really wish that all of this abundance and loving energy that you're sharing with me touches your life, all the different areas of your life, and that love and abundance just blooms in those areas. Thank you again for your support. Means a lot. You says I came in late. What is the book or author? Thank you. You're welcome, Stephen. Yeah. So, the book that we are reading today is Living Beautifully with Uncertainty and Change, and the author is Pema Chodron. So, I do mention like the readings that we have done today, and the name of the book and author, and also the type of meditation we did today in like my group on Insight Timer. So, kind of like a summary of each live. So, I mentioned the summaries in my group. Let me type the name of it. So, yeah, if you don't want to like, miss out on anything, you can always, become a member of that group, which is like an open public group. So, yeah, I would love to have you there. I will, okay, coming back to what came up on this page. So, yeah, I was mentioning that, my whole perspective changed when I realized that all of these difficult situations or the challenges or the things that I consider as problems are actually opportunities. And the bigger the problem, the bigger the challenge, the bigger the opportunity for transformation, for your own self transformation. And when I started looking at things like that, I stopped feeling, that initial resistance or denial of the situation, and the acceptance, the acceptance part flows through from that. Like it became easy to accept what is going on, and also to even feel grateful for that this is happening after I have processed the situation, not during it. But yeah, so if you feel called to, you can also adopt this particular mindset. Okay, let's see. We are going to maybe do one more reading. So if anyone new has joined again, you guys can mention a number that is coming up for you between 14 to 95, and I'm going to go through all the numbers, and I'm going to choose any number that I am feeling called to from all those. Thank you, Mona. Okay, seems like Mona every time, tune into her fresh intuition and chooses a number for all of us. Interesting. Okay, Lee has chosen a number for all of us as well. Hi, Lee, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to go through the numbers and see what comes through for me. Okay, so the number that I am feeling called to is 45, and the number has been chosen by Rachel for all of us. Thank you, Rachel. So, again, whatever number I choose doesn't mean that the reading is for that person. That reading or whatever is going to come up is for all of us because you all are present here. Okay, so you were meant to hear that. So let's see what wants to come through this particular page, which was, I forgot, Rachel's number 45. Yeah. So let's see what is on page number 45. Okay. So, so it is a practice that was actually on the next page. I didn't realize it was on the next page to the one that we read initially. Okay. So maybe this practice really wanted to come through. And it is tapping onto the reading that we did about avoiding pain and wanting pleasure, all of that. So the practice is sit quietly for a few minutes and become mindful of your breath as it goes in and out. So I'm going to just read through the practice instead of guiding you. Then contemplate what you do when you are unhappy or dissatisfied and want to feel better. So maybe think of the times when you have felt unhappy, dissatisfied, and wanted to feel better than that. So notice, what do you do? What do you usually do when you want to feel better and you're feeling unhappy and dissatisfied? Even like you can make a list if you want to. So, what are the things that you do when you're feeling unhappy and dissatisfied and you want to feel better? So, what are the actions you take? What is the behavior that you do? Then ask yourself, does it work? Has it ever worked? Okay, Rachel mentions she goes walking. That is a nice, way of coping. What else, Rachel? Maybe think of other things that you do when you're feeling upset, unhappy, sad, and you want to feel better. And other people, you guys also think of all the things. Okay, Mona listens to music. Thank you, Jules, for choosing a number for all of us. Lindsay says be in nature. Yeah, I too, feel my mood just uplifts when I go to nature. Jules says contact a friend, hug a dog. You guys are pretty, doing pretty healthy things. Beautiful. Okay, you says I overwork because exhausted and it does not work. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I see you guys are pretty aware also that you're recognizing, what you usually do. What is your automatic response? Which is okay. There is nothing to feel like shame about because you have learned that and it served a purpose at certain point in time. And now it is nice that you also have the awareness to recognize, to question, to challenge that does it really work? Jules says eat doesn't work. Yeah, so even if you're eating healthy food, which people don't eat, people are less likely to eat healthy food and more likely to eat processed food when they are feeling sad and all of those things when they are doing emotional eating. So again, Jules also recognized that, this is something that doesn't work. Rachel says beach. Okay, you go to the beach and you do yoga to reset. That's nice. Is there any other thing that you do that that you would like to question maybe here? To think of all the things, not just mention the nice and healthy ones that we can, reveal in front of everyone, but reveal also the ones that you kind of feel a little bit shameful about, maybe, or guilty about, and all of those things. For me, like, what I sometimes do is that doesn't work for me is, hmm, I scroll on social media sometimes, or I, watch like not a movie, but like series, and I watch one, two, three episodes, and then I realize that okay, I was in automatic response. Gina says retail therapy. Okay, so the first question that the author asked was, or gave you to ask yourself was, does it work? Has it ever worked? And then ask yourself, does it soothe the pain or does it escalate the pain? So for me, it actually escalated the pain. I realized that, I'm just, blocking all of that out while I'm watching it. And as soon as I turn that off, all those emotions start coming up. And I'm also now feeling more tightness in like my throat or other parts, usually my throat for me. Yeah, so it escalates the pain for me. So you can ask yourself that question as well, that does it soothe the pain or does it escalate the pain? And the author says that if you're really honest, you will come up with some pretty interesting observations. We try to hold on to fleeting pleasures. Okay, sorry, there was one more line that I missed. Yeah. So one of the insights many people have when they do this exercise is yes, those efforts do make myself feel good, do work. Okay, sorry. Those efforts to make myself feel good do work, but not for very long. That is the main point, does it work in the long term for you? Because sometimes they do work in the short term. I, maybe retail therapy, for example, Gina mentioned, or like Rachel agree with her. So sometimes that do work, but in the long term, maybe, you realize that it end up in credit card debt, or, it end up accumulating all the things that sometimes you don't even wear, or sometimes you don't even know exist, and they are in the back of your cupboard somewhere. So, realizing that, and again, every single strategy, so that is like, that is kind of an overall learning here that I want you to carry, is that every single strategy that you employ, even the healthy ones, the so-called healthy ones, like the breathing techniques, for example, deep breathing and all of those things, even the healthy ones are not going to, how do I say it, are not good for you if the intention behind all of them is to suppress the emotions, to bottle them up, to not feel. So if the intention behind anything that you do, anything, even the so-called healthy things, so even if you do that with the intention to get rid of all of that, get rid of your emotions, get rid of the discomfort, then that is going to cost you in the longer term. And all of that is going to get stored in your body somewhere, because that is energy. It is not going to go anywhere when you just suppress it. It is going to get stored in your body somewhere, and it is going to cause you issues. Okay. So yeah, so maybe shifting your strategies now that you are aware of it, maybe changing the intention behind them. Okay. And so if they're healthy ones, maybe if they're totally unhealthy and that they don't work, just abandon them slowly and try to replace them with something else. And even the healthy ones, try to change the intention behind them, and maybe do it for a while until the overwhelm settles a little bit, and then you can actually move on to the process to process the emotions. Okay. So I have like so I have two resources. The first thing that I mentioned, so anyone who would like to know about like more healthy strategies, then what you guys can do is that go to my profile, which is Anisha Maheshwari. Okay, let me put it here. Yeah, and scroll all the way down again. Okay, so here you will see a playlist known as self soothing techniques. So it basically, involves like the emotion regulation techniques that like sometimes, that therapist or, coaches and, all of these kind of people, healers, recommend them to their clients. So you can go through them, you can save this playlist and go through them. Especially like I do have some free tracks in this particular playlist, but um, those were like very, very old. So the audio might not be that good, or they are not that I didn't design them for emotion regulation, having that in my mind. But you can, if you have a subscription, or if you're willing to invest that in yourself, then you can go for a subscription and you can, check out these particular tracks of mine that can help you learn to regulate your emotions in a more healthy way. And I have mentioned that in the description as well, that do not use them to suppress your emotions, to get rid of certain emotions of yours and all of those things. Um, but use them to help you deal with the overwhelm because they might be overwhelming at first. So help them, use them to help you regulate just a little bit. So you feel like now I can turn inwards. Okay. Now I can move on to processing all of that is happening. And then you can move on to process them. So again, let me like mention the courses where I have like made some tracks. Okay, let me put it. Then I will speak. It is distracting me, kind of. Yeah. So, in these courses, I have, again, I would like to mention in the last particular lesson for anyone who has joined, right now, that in the last lesson, I have like a guided meditation type thing to help you learn how to process your emotions, to feel your emotions, to sit with your feelings. You might have heard all of these terms, being around when you're working with the therapist, coach, or, all of these different healers. So, yeah, you can check that out. If you want, you can save it. If you do not have the premium, you can subscribe. So, that is the first course, and the second one is this one. Okay, and until then, I will read some comment. Kimberly says, Anisha, I needed this. Thank you. Thank you, Kimberly, for sharing that. I'm glad that, the wisdom that wanted to come through has reached you. Dina says, if you resist, it persists. Exactly my point. If you are trying to resist it, the more the resistance, the more energy that you're putting into that, and the more difficult it is going to get for you guys to, for all of us to manage all of that. So let's see, there is another comment. You says, Anisha, this session was not an accident, was getting depressed. You have a gift, very healing presence. So grateful. Can't stop crying. Blessing to you and everyone. Thank you, you, for mentioning that. And I am glad that, you were in the space, you are in the space. And crying is a nice thing, since you mentioned that you feel numb and all of that. Crying is nice. We have learned, society has somehow, programmed us that crying is a sign of weakness and all of these different things. But crying is a way of your body to release all of that stress that is building in your body. So your tears actually carry, those stress hormones of cortisol and, all of those stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol and all of that. It wants to, all of that stress wants to come out of your body. And that is why we feel good after crying. And we just go to sleep because all of that stress gets released. It becomes so overwhelming for our body to contain it that it spills it over in the form of tears. So yeah, that is a nice thing. That is a nice form of release. Helen says, sending lots of love to you. To you. Oh, Helen, that is so nice. I love how loving the community here is. And, you guys just support each other, send love, healing, and all of that. Beautiful. Rachel says, thank you. You're welcome, Rachel. Another Rachel has joined us. Hi, Rachel. Thank you for joining us. It's so nice to see you here again. Okay. So, thank you for that beautiful emoji, Rachel. Hmm. V says, crying is letting go is freedom. Exactly. And by crying, you also create all of this space. So, yeah, for me, crying is beautiful, and I am a crier. I am a crier. I remember those days, when I felt like very, very low. And I remember like sitting in my bathroom and I was looking at the mirror. I was crying and I was looking at me crying, if you guys can relate. Ah. And I cried and cried and cried. And after that, the body feels kind of calm. And it is such a nice feeling, and I can now see, why we get kind of lull into sleep because we are feeling so safe. Our body is feeling safe. Our body got tired carrying all of that stress, and now it got to let go. Jules says it's okay to feel pain. It's not okay to ignore it. I'm getting better at recognizing the pain in order to let it go. I am so happy for you, Jules, that you have, started to recognize that, live that truth, and also take steps towards that. It is not going to be a 1 day process, despite the awareness. It is going to take time, and every step you take towards it is going to bring it's going to bring you closer to such amazing transformation. So proud of you, Jules. Chat says, what were you crying about? Let me remember all of the times that I've cried and what I was crying about. Huh. I think that time I was crying about kind of feeling like a failure, as far as I remember. Yeah, in my career and stuff like that. Like, so I choose like a less of a conventional path and try to just become self-employed and try to do things on my own, which I'm still doing. It is a struggle at some times, but it is always also so fulfilling for me. And that is the best suited for my personality. I don't think I can do a job, at least not 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 now. Yeah, since all the time that I've get an experience of being self-employed. So yeah, so there are like those low, very low phases, Chad, um, which hit me. And yeah, I do realize that it has been some time since I cried a lot. Um, yeah, which is also a nice thing. It's not that, I'm grateful that things are going well, at least since last few months. So thank you for asking that, Chad, and helping me reflect. Um, yeah, but those feelings do creep in, here and there, like, feeling like a failure or feeling insecure or worried or, not knowing where the next, penny is going to come through and all of those things. So yeah, I did felt low in April, I think, towards the end of it. Like I was not physically well as not mentally well and all of that. But yeah, things happened and I got hopeful. So, yeah. So thank you, Chad, for asking that. Um, yeah, I think this is the right moment to, wrap things up for this after a little bit of share. Yeah. So, I do have like a few announcements to make, especially for anyone who is joining for the very first time. So I want to let you know. Um, I want to let any, chat says, good to hear things turned around. Good for you. Thank you, chat. Yeah, it is good. And I'm just, soaking in the good. I'm feeling grateful for the good times. And I know the bad ones would also come, eventually. But yeah, I am cherishing the good ones for now and not feeling worried about the bad ones. Kimberly says, Anisha, this is scary. That's exactly what brought me here. Feeling scared and hopeless as an entrepreneur. Yeah, it is, isn't it, Kimberly? Um, I am laughing, but yeah, I can. So there's this thing when I am feeling like, when I'm feeling a difficult emotion, sometimes I laugh as well. Not to hide it, but yeah. Okay, that's just a thing that I just became aware of. Yeah, coming back to you, Kimberly. Yeah, that is pretty hard. And at that time sometimes what helps me is that compassion self compassion, and reminding me of all the times when things do worked even when I was feeling like this is ruined this is not going as I planned, and all of those things. So, yeah, so just reminding myself of the times when things turned around, or just holding myself in compassion and crying, then letting myself cry and hugging a pillow and all of those different things just letting myself feel all of the fear and all of the emotions. And sometimes it is also helpful to write, like I just keep on writing all of the fears I'm worried about, that what if this happens, what if this is not going to happen and all of that. So, yeah, I just put it everything on paper, and then I feel a sense of like a little bit of clarity. So I cannot like assure you, Kimberly, that everything is going to be just fine. All I can invite you is to hold that part of you that is scared in some love and compassion right now. And, you know, to help ignite some hope, remind yourself of the times that things did turned around, things did happen, unexpected things happened. So, so maybe doing that. Jules says, I'm not a crier, but cried 2 hours Friday. Found a movie about talented aging women being unseen, and it hit a chord. Yeah, I love that the movies have this power to to touch us in a way, to strike that chord and let all of the emotions just flow out, just pour out. And I'm not only a big crier when I'm feeling low, but in the movies, oh, I am going to cry. Okay. Lot about crying and a lot of like self reveal today. Jules says, seems to be a theme. Ultimately, the women were seen for their beautiful talent and now thrive. Oh, beautiful. Love to know that. Love to know the ending, and kind of a beautiful reminder, some quote that goes like I'm not remembering the exact thing that, but it is like if it is not good, if your current situation is not good, then it is not the end. So maybe like waiting for that things to fall into place, that this is not the end. Oh, that was a true story. Oh, thank you so much for bringing that inspiration Jules. Wow, thank you. Kimberly says community is so important. So thankful for you sharing your wisdom. And I have 100% agree. The community is so important. And I have like I used to feel a little bit nervous about doing these lives, especially the initial live. I was like, oh my God, I was freaked out. all the technical stuff and all of these things. And since I started doing this Wheel of Wisdom, especially, I started falling in love with these lives and connecting with you. I love, sharing the space with you guys. It is so amazing. So, yeah, I do really, really appreciate every single one of you. I mean it. I appreciate your presence so much. Let's see. Okay. So, B says, wow, we needed this. Thank you all for sharing. I'm glad that, you resonated with what came through V. Rachel says, I remember the quote. It goes, things will be okay in the end. And if they are not okay, it's because it's not the end. Thank you, Rachel, for mentioning the exact quote. Thank you so much. So maybe carrying this one, with all of with our, I'm losing my words now. I need to drink some water. Yeah, so carrying these words in our minds as we go, into our lives from this life. Um, you'll say community is how we survive, not money. Exactly. We says I love the wheel of wisdom. Oh, we I love to have you here. Thank you so much for coming back again and again. I appreciate that. Okay, guys, now it's time to wrap this particular live. So, thank you so much for being here. And if you enjoyed this live, if you got anything out of it, if you enjoyed the space, uh, if if you resonated with anything that came through this live, and if you would like me to continue doing these lives day after day, then you can support me by, making a donation of whatever amount that you feel called to, whatever amount that you feel like, sharing with me. And I would so appreciate that gift from you. Um, and the announcement that I was mentioning about was, thank you, Jules, for your kind donation. I so appreciate it, really. It really means a lot that you gave me this gift to support me in my own journey. And I hope that this abundance that you have shared with me multifolds and it flourishes in your chosen career. I hope that this abundance comes back to you in many, many ways that you can even imagine. Thank you. That's okay. I always appreciate, any donation because that just makes me feel like it is just another level feeling to be valued in this way, to be supported in this way. So I really appreciate any amount that you can. I never want you to, to worry about that, worry about the amount, worry about like, feel any pressure. Okay. I love that. I love, receiving any gift. Thank you, Kimberly, for sharing a donation. Thank you so much. That is really kind of you. I just, wish that this loving energy that you have shared with me, Kimberly, this just expands and wraps you in this beautiful blanket of care, of kindness. And I hope that you feel abundant in every area of your life. Thank you. Okay, guys, now time for the announcement. Thank you so much, you, for the donation. You guys are so kind and generous. Thank you so much. Oh, and now I get to read the whole, um, kind of like the name of you. So the you It's like you can do this. So that is the whole description of you, which is amazing. Wow. Thank you so much, you, for your kind donation. Thank you so much for the support, you. And I really wish that, all of this abundance and love ripples and ripples and impacts your life in the way that you never imagined. It just brings so much positivity and joy and love to you. You're welcome, Kimberly. It's my pleasure. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, the announcement. So, all of this is getting recorded. So, our live is getting recorded, and the way to access the video recording of this live is you can again go to my profile. Okay, go to the about section of my profile and scroll all the way down. When you scroll all the way down, you will see a link tree here. Okay, so when you click on this link tree, you will see Wheel of Wisdom. Yeah, so you will see Wheel of Wisdom replay here, and you can, access these replays because I have like created a whole playlist of all the lives that we have done so far. So not only this particular live, but you would find all the lives. And why I have done that is because if you're going through something and you would like to receive some guidance, then you don't have to, wait for me, or you don't if I'm not going live, then you can just tune into this particular playlist and choose a number between 1 to 61, and whatever number comes up for you, just go and watch that particular video and receive the wisdom, knowing that that guidance wanted to come through for you. So yeah, you can play with that. You can develop a connection with that, with your own intuition, so that that inner wisdom can guide you in your life. And yeah, another thing is that it does take, like, the video recording, it does take like 1 hour to get uploaded on my channel. So in that, in case you want like immediate access, then what you can do is that you can join my group, Wonderful Beings on Insight Timer. So either you can search for it in the search box on Insight Timer, or you can like scroll all the way down, and at the bottom you will see Wonderful Beings. So you can join this little community of mine, and I would absolutely love to have you. And I actually post summaries of every single live, in that group. So, like I mentioned, the type of meditation that we do, the name of the book that we read, the kind of, the readings and everything from the book. And yeah, so that you don't miss out on anything. And I also publish any updates. Like if I have to cancel a live because of certain things, which is rare, but yeah, sometimes happen. Or if a new track of mine is getting published. So, as we did a meditation at the start of this live, we usually do one meditation per live, and yeah, and up until now, since this is the 61st live, we have like 65 meditation, around something like that, 65 meditations, and I'm publishing them one by one on Insight Timer. So the latest meditation that came through was this one, like, breathing light into the darkness. And I have like created a whole playlist of that as well. So when you scroll down, you will see Wheel of Wisdom meditations. So like 11 tracks have been released so far in this particular, playlist. And yeah, you can, if you want to tune into this particular energy and tune into the meditations, you can check the playlist out. And you can also follow me if you want to get notified about, like, this okay, give me a second to put the card. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, if you want to get notified about like the next track that get released, because one track is coming per week at least. And also if you want to get notified about the next live, which is day after tomorrow. um let me see. If I can put it here. Um, I think I forgot to save that. Yeah. But but you can always, go to my profile, and in that section you can go to the event section to check out, like, go to the profile, go to the event section, and we have like um the next event on 3rd June. Thank you so much for all the lovely hearts. And yeah, welcome Silverback. Thank you for all the amazing, emojis. And Silverback says always quality sessions. Thank you. Okay, guys, at last, let's, wrap this particular live. Okay, I missed one thing. So I recently like started, doing something in February, which is that I started offering like a complimentary session to all the women who attend my live. So, if you are a woman who would be interested in a powerful conversation, who would be, who would like a free 1 hour coaching session with me, then you can message me on Insight Timer. The way to message me is you can go to my profile. If you're already following me, the follow button would become donate button, and above it 3 dots appear. Click on 3 dots, go to message teacher and message that, Anisha, I'm interested in that complimentary session. And I do like, only offer that session to women, because I only work one on one with women all over the world, and I just, I just felt so much fulfillment since I started doing these sessions. I think I started doing these sessions in February, yeah, around the Valentine's Day time. So yeah, since then, I started that as an experiment, just like that, to see how does that feel like, and I really felt like continuing it because of the fulfillment that I got and the changes that were happening in that single session. So yeah, so if you're interested, I can promise you one thing, which is that you're going to leave with at least one powerful insight from that session. So yeah, so if you're a woman who is interested in that complimentary session, feel free to message me. And if you know of women, if you are not a woman, but you know of someone else who is not in the live, you can send her my way as well. And as I mentioned, I only like work one on one with women. But if you are not a woman, then you can, check out my other offerings. Like I have 7 courses on Insight Timer. I have like multiple playlists. So I have like content around mindfulness, feeling like more alive, noticing the beauty around you, cultivating all the different mindsets like non striving, beginner's mind, acceptance, and all of those different mindsets of mindfulness, as well as also some courses around overcoming your negative thoughts, identifying the common thinking errors that you make, or, identifying your limiting beliefs. So yeah, you can check all of that stuff out. And I do also have some free offerings in the link tree that I mentioned, which you can access through the yeah by going to the about section in my profile. So yeah, when you go to the about section, scroll all the way down, you will see a link tree. So you can check that out as well. So that's it for this particular session. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I really hope to see, all of you in the next session on 3rd June. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Namaste. I bow to the divine within you. V says you are amazing. So are you, V. Thank you for your presence. I love that.